is the Schrothinator here. Welcome back to UFC predictions. Now, um, I've done predictions in the past and everything, and a lot of you guys enjoyed it, and I want to keep it going, but it's not like a huge priority for me. Like I want to work on the other series. I know I've been lacking on stuff lately, but Pokemon Go came out, and I've been obsessed with that. I'm trying to get into that a lot. Um, And I also said before, like I'm not 100% focused on YouTube and everything right now because of the full time job. I want to get some money. I want to focus on some other things right now because obviously YouTube and Twitch aren't doing a lot for me at the moment right now. Of course, I enjoy doing it, but anyway, let's go ahead and jump right into the predictions here. In the Fight Pass prelims, we got Jim Miller versus Takanori Gomi. I think Jim Miller is going to pull off a decision against Gomi. Both just seem like they're done, and like honestly, it looks like loser is either going to retire or get cut from the UFC. That's just what it seems like is gonna happen. Then you got Santos versus Musasi in that Fight Pass prelims. Also, Musasi I think is going to end up getting a TKO over Santos in the second round, or a KO even. I think Musasi is by far the way superior fighter in this fight, is way better everywhere, and I think should dominate Santos and finish him. And then I believe the last fight in the Fight Pass prelims is Diego Sanchez versus Joe Lozon. Everybody seems to think this is going to be a great fight of the night. I personally don't see it being that way. I think Diego Sanchez is going to try to brawl the whole time. I think Lozon's going to try to stand up a little bit, and then Lozon's going to realize he can't take the pressure of Sanchez, and he's going to take him down. And I think he's going to end up submitting Sanchez in the third round. That's how I see that going. Most people think Sanchez is going to end up winning this fight. That's just personally not the way I see it going. But on the main card, we got Sage Northcutt taking on Marin. And I have Northcutt winning by knockout in the first round. The last fight he was in against Barberena, he got submitted very oddly. Like, he was winning the fight the entire time. Then, as soon as he got put in that arm triangle choke, he like panic tapped. Like, I don't believe he was trained correctly. I don't believe that's 100% his fault. He wasn't trained correctly. He's young. He just freaked out because I don't think he's ever been put in a submission really before like that. So he didn't know when to tap. He just felt like he was getting choked a little bit and then ended up tapping. That's how I see that went. Hopefully Northcutt worked on submission defense, or not just submission defense, just working on getting locked in a submission and knowing when to tap and when not to tap. Then on this card as well, we have TJ Dillashaw versus Rafael Assunção. I think Assunção is going to have that ring rust factor. I think he's I just don't think he's as good as Dillashaw now. When they fought before, it was very controversial. I watched the fight. I don't remember who I sided on winning that fight. I just know a lot of people thought Dillashaw won, and I truly believe Dillashaw's a better fighter than Assunção, so I think he's going to pick up a KO or a TKO in the third round. Then we have Johnny Hendricks taking on Kelvin Gastelum. And honestly, I think, Hendricks missed weight just by like a fourth of a pound, I believe. And, he has to forfeit 20% of his purse to Gastelum. That's how that works, since he missed weight. I think Hendricks is still going to end up winning the fight. I think he's going to put it out to a decision. I think Gastelum's going to try to mix it up a little bit, try to stand it up a little bit. But I think ultimately it's going to be a wrestling match. It's going to be whoever gets on top is going to have the advantage, and they're both going to try to be I think Hendricks is kind of smother him and do enough to stay on top of him, GSP style. The Gastelum, I think, is going to look for the choke the whole fight, but I think Hendricks will pull off a decision win. Then we have what should be a crazy women's bantamweight fight, and actually, I agree with most of these people. I agree with Kat Zingano coming out the victor. I think she's going to get a submission in the third round. I think Zingano, just overall with more experience, more top-level experience. She beat Miesha Tate. She beat Amanda Nunes. She fought and beat both fighters in the main event of UFC 200. That's crazy. So and they're both exciting to watch. I think this is going to be one of the best fights on the card, personally. Then after that, we got Cain Velasquez versus Travis Brown. And again, I agree with the people. I think Velasquez will pull off the win. I don't think he's going to do it easily, though. I think Brown's going to make it a close fight. It's going to be difficult for Velasquez, but I think he's going to end up getting that KO or TKO in the third round. That's how I see it going. I have a lot of late round finishes in my predictions. And then I have, after that, with Jose Aldo and Frankie Edgar, I have Edgar actually winning a decision over Aldo, maybe getting like a fifth round KO or TKO. But I'm sticking with decision. I think Edgar's a lot better. I think Aldo's going to be a little shaken up from Aldo. If that's the case, Edgar might get that finish then. But if that's not the case, then if Aldo's going to come back stronger, I still believe Edgar is going to pull off the decision then. The first time they fought was very close. Some people thought Edgar won. I personally believe that Aldo did enough to win that fight for sure. It should be a good fight. It should be it's one of my nominees for fight of the night for sure. Then we got Daniel Cormier versus Anderson Silva. I never thought I would have said this in my life, ever. Daniel Cormier, because John Jones was positive for substances and everything. Cormier, I believe, will end up getting the KO or TKO in the third round because it's going to be a 3-round fight. And rumor has it if Silva wins this fight, he's going to end up getting to fight Bisping for the middleweight title. That was a rumor I heard, is that he's going to be able to fight Bisping for the middleweight title if he wins that fight. I don't believe that should happen at all. Jacare is the only human being that should be fighting Michael Bisping right now. He's the only one that's earned a middleweight title shot. Then after that, the co-main event, we have my boy Brock Lesnar taking on Mark Hunt. Wow, look how close that is. Just barely people think Brock's going to beat Hunt. That's the closest one on this fantasy thing here on UFC, EA Sports UFC 2. I personally think Brock Lesnar's going to get that first round finish. I think he's going to knock out Mark Hunt in the first round, or TKO him, really. What I think is going to happen is Hunt's going to look for a big shot. Lesnar is going to end up ducking it, getting a takedown, and he's going to end up getting some ground and pound in, or maybe even choking out Hunt. So I have it as a first round KO or TKO, but just as easily. Like, I teeter-totter this on a lot, and I think, honestly, Hunt's a huge favorite in my eyes. I think Hunt, it's just one punch and it's over for Brock. That's how it is for anybody that fights Mark Hunt. So it could easily go either way. Depends on where the fight goes. And the main event, which I disagree with this being the main event, not because it's women. I'm all for women main events, but I think Aldo Edgar is definitely the real main event of UFC 200, or it should be. Since Cormier and Silva is not a title fight, Aldo and Edgar, I just think it would make more sense. Huge rematch for the featherweight title. I think it'd be a much more exciting fight than Tate and Nunes. But at least I agree with it being a title fight instead of Lesnar and Hunt. I love Lesnar, of course. I'm a huge freak on Lesnar. But a title fight should be the main event of a pay-per-view every single time. So in this fight, I believe Tate will get a KO or TKO in the 5th round. I think she's going to be able to get some, she'll have the better cardio. She'll be more fresh in the 5th round. Not super fresh, but she'll be more fresh, and she'll be able to get a TKO on the ground, I think, is how it'll go. She'll use her wrestling and then end up getting a couple elbows or hammer fists, something like that in there. So that is my predictions for UFC 200. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section. Let me know what your picks are. Of course, hit that like button as hard as you can on this video, and of course, subscribe. I will see you all next time. Goodbye.